Hi guys, welcome to the Premier League preview. Game week 3 is almost amongst us. We've had 2 weeks now of Premier League action. And the annoying thing is, after this weekend's football, we've got another international break. Now I said this in my preview for Manchester United's trip to Hull. What a fucking joke. Can't stand the international friendlies. The tournament, you know what, in the summer, yeah, happy days. And the qualifiers, of course you have to play those games. But every time there's friendlies, I find myself asking, what the fuck is the point? It just doesn't make sense. We've had 2 or 3 Premier League games into the season now, and you want an international break. Why? These players aren't even match fit for their clubs, but you want them to go off for their countries, to sit on the bench half the time. Then there'll be 7-8 changes at the break. What's the point in these games? They're pointless. Anyway, back to the Premier League action. Spurs against Liverpool is the first fixture of the weekend, and this game is going to be massive. Now, obviously, Spurs have made a reasonable start to the season. It's been quiet. A 1-1 draw with Everton, a 1-0 victory over Palace at home, and they've got 4 points out of 6, which is a reasonable start to their season. Now, Liverpool, on the other hand, have been their usual Jekyll and Hyde selves. A great victory over Arsenal, despite the fact that their defence did crumble towards the end, a bit like a digestive. 4-3 in that game. They played some great football in attack. And then they went and lost 2-0 against Burnley. Could you believe it? 2-0 against Burnley. Andre Gray scored the winner. It was a victory that Burnley, I'm not sure how they got it. They had about 18% possession. It was crazy. So now Liverpool come into this one and everyone's asking themselves again, what Liverpool is going to turn up? Is it going to be the one that's half decent and can string some great football together and a bit deadly in attack? Or is it going to be the one that turned up at Burnley and got beat 2-0? So who's going to turn up? Which Liverpool will it be? Spurs, obviously big game for them at home. They'll be wanting to win it. They'll be going into this game as slight favourites, being the home side. And I just don't know how to call this game. It's simply because of the fact that I wouldn't be surprised to see Liverpool win 3-0. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Liverpool get beat 3-0. It's a very, very interesting game. If I had to predict the scoreline, I'd go 2-1 Spurs with Harry Kane opening his scoring for the season. Another interesting game of this weekend's action is, of course, Watford against Arsenal at Vicarage Road. Watford have had a mixed start to the season. It could have been a great start to the season for them. They opened it up with a 1-1 draw at St Mary's against Southampton. And then having taken the lead against Chelsea and closing into the last 15 minutes ahead against Chelsea at home, they threw it away and lost 2-1 and now only have 1 point out of their opening 6 points available. They take on an Arsenal side who, they have 1 point out of 6, lost the opening fixture against Liverpool, and then of course drew with the champions Leicester last weekend. And to be fair, they should have lost that game because Leicester could have, maybe should have, had 1 or 2 penalties. So Arsenal got a little bit lucky there, but will they finally get their first victory of the Premier League campaign against Watford? Now, this one, I hate the start of the season. It's so difficult to call games. It's why half of my accumulators at the start of the season absolutely go tits up. It's hard to call these games because teams at the moment are still getting to know each other, still working together, still probably trying to bring in players, probably still trying to get match fitness. So there's a lot still up in the air at the minute. Obviously, Arsenal haven't really brought in many players, so it's main team from last season, and you'd expect them to know each other a little bit more, but there's always this negativity around Arsenal, and obviously coming into this season, they haven't really spent any money, they haven't strengthened their side. So there's that negativity around Arsenal again, and if Watford can go in at half-time 0-0 or even 1-0 up, then that pressure will begin to build on the Arsenal players. You'll feel it from the fans, from the stands, and they could crumble under that. Saying that, I do think Arsenal will get their first victory of the season, and kind of heap a little bit of pressure on Watford having... Yeah, I can just see Arsenal getting it. And I go with a 2-1 win to Arsenal. But, you know I hope Watford do it, right? This weekend, the champions have also got a home fixture against Swansea. Now, I remember this fixture last year. They wrapped up the Premier League title. And this time, they come into it needing a victory to get their first win of the season. It's something that I fancy them to do at home. Swansea, obviously, last time out, lost against Hull at home. Obviously, they're under a new manager. So, again, another team that's still working at things and probably trying to get to know the manager's new style of play. Now, Claudio Ranieri's brought in a few players to strengthen the team. Danny Drinkwater signed a new contract. And I see them going into this hitting it from the off and trying to get a few early goals. And if that happens, this could be 4 or 5-0 to Leicester. Before I go on to Manchester City, West Ham, I just want to talk about a few other games that have picked my fancy as well. Southampton against Sunderland and Everton against Stoke. Now, Southampton against Sunderland, David Moyes yet to win a game. Cloudpool yet to win a game. This game could be a crazy one. Both teams need to get a victory. I sense there could be a lot of goals in this as well. Sunderland's defence isn't all that. Southampton, on the other hand, they're going to be attacking. They're going to be trying to get goals. So I could see this even being like a 2-2 draw or something like that. Adnan Januzaj scored a fantastic goal in the League Cup for Sunderland, getting a late winner for them midweek. So he'll be full of confidence as well, having shown signs against City when he came on as a sub that he could make things happen for them. He seems to be the guy they're relying on for a little bit of magic and to help Jermaine Defoe to get the goals. So Januzaj and Defoe have it all to play for, but they will cause problems for Southampton. Now, Southampton, on the other hand, they need these points. I'm going for a score draw, though. Everton against Stoke as well. Interesting. Ronald Koeman against Mark Hughes. Both teams that I think could be dark horses for the Europa League spots and all that. And I think they'll be fighting at that end of the table. And will be above that kind of mid-table range, 10 to 15. I think they'll be top 10. Anyway, let's just say that. Everton against Stoke. Interesting one. Again, with this one, I'll just give you my score prediction. It's going to be 2-1 to Everton. Now, the last game we'll talk about today is Pep Guardiola's Manchester City against West Ham. Now, last season they pulled off an entertaining 2-2 draw. Slaven Bilic's side have got 3 points this season. They did beat Bournemouth last time out in the opening game at the Olympic Stadium. And that was having lost their opening fixture of the season against Chelsea. So 3 points out of 6 for them. Manchester City are one of those 4 sides that have 6 points out of 6. And they'll come into it full of confidence, having beaten Steaua Bucharest over 2 legs to confirm their place in the Champions League knockout stages. Champions League? What's that? Anyway. Now this will be a very, very interesting game. Slaven Bilic tactically is fantastic, and they've got some very useful players there at West Ham. Now in Manchester City, we've seen that I think they can be gotten at. I think they are adapting to Pep Guardiola's style of play very well. I'm liking the way they're playing it, and they will improve as well, especially in that final third. I think they'll improve, but defensively, I think they're there to be got at, especially with the likes of John Stones in the middle and the style of football they try to play. With the way their fullbacks will occupy positions further up the field, I truly believe that West Ham could be a team that could get something out of this game, and I think it will be quite tight. I do think Manchester City will edge it in the end, though, unfortunately for United. So we better get 3 points against Hull. I'm going for Manchester City to win this one 3-1. So guys, that's been it for us today. Thank you for watching the Premier League preview. Of course, we'll have the review of the weekend's action up for you on Monday as well. But make sure you join that Premier League. Where's the code again? I forgot where the code is. Make sure you join the Fantasy League. The code's right up there. I haven't made any changes to my team this week. I am up in a better position now. I got some good points last week, so I'm hoping to push on and maybe get into that top 100. So make sure you join it if you haven't yet. Make sure you subscribe to McKola TV. Like, comment and share. See you later.